Final term about to get underway. 22 points the margin. Griffin in the ruck against Minson. Minson with the big palm, but Mzungu pounces to Pearce. Fremantle with the opening clearance to half forward. Dogs the numbers around it. Good attack from both players. Smith knocked it down. Howard, Austin, dangerous kick across goal, but Eastonwood should mop this up. Markovic. Kick needs to be good. It wasn't. Mzungu pokes it back, attacking 50. No in the back, free to Ballantyne. Hard for Ballantyne to get a free these days. Barlow. Mzungu. And a big scramble. And we'll get a tie up. Matthew Boyd giving some instructions. Here it is here. That's pretty much in the bag for mine.
Yeah, no arguments here, Dwayne. Question is, who wants to run the most? The Bulldogs are going to have to almost do PBs to get themselves back in front here, trailing significantly. If they're going to go in front, they just have to win the ball and charge with it.
Barlow kick smothered. Main flicks it down.
The problem is they haven't been doing that all day, Jared, so it'll be surprising to see him play a new style of footy. But Freo really have dominated. That 44 inside 50s to 24 in this game shows how dominant they've been. So if they can keep that up and they keep attacking, they should be able to kick away.
Minson with the fist. Boundary line was the sanctuary for him there. Mzungu got there first, taken to the line. Get a ball in.
Turned around the clearances in that third quarter. Freo, they've been getting beaten in the first half. They won the third quarter 15-9.
Minson been getting his fist on the ball first, but Fremantle been getting the takeaways. Pavlich couldn't find Ballantyne with a clean handball. A bounce to him, and once again he's tied up, and we'll get a ball up.
Might be an idea just to come third man up here and try and clear the scrum.
Fremantle chant rings around Patersons Stadium. Austin kick smothered. Back and gets it. Boyd flicks it wide. Tutt to half forward to Dixon, who's kicked three. Taps it down in Dalhouse's direction. Sherman hasn't seen a lot of it in this game, and that's a poor kick to half forward. McFarlane was waiting for it to De Boer.
He's going to be their problem, McFarlane. He's tending to end up being the loose man. Bulldogs are going to have to avoid him at all costs.
Crowley and Griffin side by side, in fact tangled as they have been for the entire afternoon.
He's done a great job, Crowley. Griffin only had 13 disposals and 1 goal, and that wasn't anything to do with Crowley. That was the turnover deep in defence just before three-quarter time. So
do you persist with that rule, or do you put Griffin to full forward? I know the ball's not coming down there much, but he's a quality unit coming out of the square.
Boyd high, Jakira up, can't mark. To his own advantage, had it, lost it. Eastonwood pops it inside 50 to the hot spot, but Mundy read it beautifully.
That's the second time they've won the ball from a clearance, blindly kicked it forward, only for it to be turned around by the Dockers.
Not a bad move, the Griffin idea, Jared.
Well, he's had 13 possessions in 3 quarters, so he gets another 4. That's not going to win them the game, but 3 goals might.
Yep.
I guess the only problem is they've only had 25 inside 50, so they'd have to get it down to him. But you make a good point.
Cut off by Gilby. He can reload. It's been okay in his first game for the year. Into Gilby on his birthday. 31 today to Liberatore. Had Eastonwood out wide. He ignored that option. Wants to go longer to Dalhouse.
Had 20 disposals, Lindsay Gilby. Matty Boyd 25, and Pearce has had 22 for the Dockers.
Just on Matty Boyd, his 200th next week, not Daniel Cross's 200th. Better correct that. Daniel Cross, his 200th round 21. 2 superstars playing their milestone 200ths this year. Griffin to half forward, rolling ball. Higgins attacks it and keeps it alive.
Ran it fair way.
15 metres the wrong way. Dixon back to full forward. Sherman beaten for it by Mundy, who content to slap it out.
I've liked Mundy's time down back, Jared, since he's gone down there. Just got him a little bit into the game, but on that particular time, one-on-one, he won the contest.
He's pretty comfortable across there. The question is whether or not they can afford to have him there. If they can build their midfield to such a level next year that he's able to play across half-back, they're going to be a hell of a side. But I saw Simon Beasley, one of the all-time greats of the Western Bulldogs, earlier. They'd like to have him running out of the square at this stage, Dwayne. No rain cloud, so he's guaranteed to stay on the ground.
Could have almost have been a free kick to Daniel Cross there just before. He was jumped on. Ballantyne's a little injured behind that mad scramble, and Barlow comes up with it. Handballing his best option. He hasn't been kicking well today. Ibbotson back to Mundy, to Johnson. Called to go. Hit the deck. Duffield. Jakira needs to go. McFarlane, one of the best marks in the game, can't mark this. McPhee.
Good numbers around the ball here, the Bulldogs.
They've got some belief. They're still in this. Mentioned earlier, last time these two teams met, the Bulldogs smashed Fremantle by 46 points. It was round 24 last year, so it's not that long ago. And they've got a good recent record against Fremantle. Mzungu, turnover. Boyd.
Good vision across there, not getting a free kick. And they looked as if they've got suffering from Q and the rack syndrome right now, the Dockers. They've built their lead, got it out to, what was it, 36 points, I think, Dwayne?
Yep.
And all of a sudden, they've done enough. Well, they haven't done enough because they're so far behind the 8th side on percentage. They need to actually smash a couple.
Full forward. Danger zone for the Dockers, and Mundy equal to it.
Yeah, they don't look to have the spark in this last quarter at the moment. They look a bit tired, but they do need to find something.
Dalhouse got there, made the ground. Ton of time left in this. 21-point margin.
Well, that wasn't good enough from Paul Duffield. That had to be his ball, and he had to do a better effort than that.
Didn't even turn around.
Johnson, it's his forte. Just mopping up those marks as loose man. He missed Griffin, but the ball hits Ballantyne, and he is away. Takes them on long. McFarlane. Austin got a hand on it. McFarlane stole it back. Thought about a handball and went back to him. Central ball. Main can't get there in time. Markovic dumps it. Kepler-Bradley jumped on. Umpire right there, 3 metres away. Ball up.
Well, they're lucky, the Dockers, that a couple of players have sparked after half-time. None more so than Hayden Ballantyne. I think even there you just saw him adding his little bit of bite, trying to inspire his teammates to get a wriggle on.
Just shows how important pace is through the middle of the ground these days. Try and break the lines, break the zone, get the kick out of the back over the top of it, and you can score quickly.
Well, he got him going in that third quarter with that magnificent run from behind tackle.
Yep.
And he got the ball 10 times himself with 3 tackles. He's been their best player since the halfway mark.
Lower. Somehow with the clearance. Markovic run down by De Boer. Turnover. Pavlich has had a fantastic day at the office again. To Hill. And almost another goal assist. It might still be. It's a mark to Main.
Well, a set shot from here is a bit tricky.
But he's the best in the business, so if you want it in someone's hands, it's Main's hands.
Well, he just has to take his time, go around and take 1 or 2 steps and bang it through on his left foot. Sounds easy.
Pensive crowd. He bends it around. He is as good as there is in the AFL from set shots. Chris Main.
Well, it was great conversion. And good work here by Pav, because Pav had 4 options with that handball. He was smart enough to know that the first 3 were going to be closed down, even though they were the reflex type of handball that so many players give. And yet, bang, he went the other way, out to the boundary line to Stephen Hill, who mongreled it forward, and Chris Main made sense of the whole lot.
$16 goals won from set shots, Chris Main this year. 3 goals for his afternoon. 27 goals, 3 for the year. Umpire calls the play on. Cross handball comes up to Griffin. And long, full forward. Cordy needs to grab one. Can't get near it. Johnson kept front spot, protected the drop zone. Cordy keeps it in the area at least. And a good spot for a ball up for the Dogs. 27 points the margin. 14 minutes left on the clock in what is essentially a season eliminator for the Dogs. If they lose this, finals definitely out of the equation. Pavlich hard with a fist. Higgins, Duffield had him wrapped up. Barlow, McPhee. Will the umpire read this? Higgins jumped on it. They jumped on him. Easy decision.
Just have a look at Pav's poise here. We so often see instant handballs from players not thinking about consequences. Pav ignored 2 options and then whipped it out to a bloke who was outside the pack and allowed to get the ball free.
Duffield in the Griffin direction. That's a good grab again from Lake. #1 mark in the AFL in 2012. Shows why. Good contested mark that time, not as a loose man. Wallace. Wood. Tucked up against the boundary, played on quickly. Higgins. Pavlich. Just lending a hand in defence, happy to protect this 27-point lead.
And just going back to that Matthew Pavlich handle, Gerard, as you mentioned, sometimes finding the right option is the skill of Matthew Pavlich. He did have 3 options, but he found the right one.
Spot on, Jacko.
Back into play, Boyd. Just manufactured a handball. More seconds tick down. Fremantle 13th on the ladder right now. They finished 11th last year, and that wasn't good enough. Enough was enough. They moved Mark Harvey on after that 11th on the ladder performance. Right now 13th. They desperately need this. Get their season cranked up. Hill attacked it and was attacked.
Now that is a classic case of the hard tag by Picken. It was brilliant tagging. In fact, he ended up giving away the free kick, but he prevented Hill from doing what he does best, and that's breaking lines.
McPhee, he can gather and go if he wants to go. He has the outlet man. McFarlane, pocket, not quite.
He needed to get back further from the mark there, Adam McPhee. What it did is limited his input, or where it limited the area he could get the kick to. But players do that so often these days because they want to move the ball on quickly, but they'd be better off getting back further. Yeah,
you have to give it too much elevation, which then means the ball's going to have hang time, and the Bulldogs player was able to spoil.
Bradley over his head with the kick. Play on the call.
Classic Bradley kick. Let's take a look at the time in the forward half. At this stage, the Bulldogs are dominating in the 4th quarter. Unable to put a major impact on the scoreboard, though.
Yeah, they're in this game, but they're not capitalising on their possession. Mundy flicks it up.
Catch that.
High to the pocket. Lake might.
8 marks for
Here's
Lake.
the #1.
Number 8 for the day.
Well, the only way out is to get across the ground or go up the middle and take a gamble. They're going to have to basically risk losing by 8 goals to give themselves a chance here.
Minson has to go. Cordy's there and he plucks it from Minson.
Geez, he's a positive, or he's a really promising looking young player, this kid.
Just game 11 for Ace Cordy, and there's another one on the way. Zane, maybe a father-son option for the Dogs in a year or so. Zane Cordy, Geelong College boy. Short to Austin. Matthew Boyd. Still time. Don't want to do anything silly because a goal against them now for the Dogs certainly means this game is over. Clay Smith, another one of their young players, and at least they can put this year down to a development year. They can sell that message to the Dogs. It's going to be hard for the Dockers to do that if they lose this.
Well, Western Bulldogs have got 5 draft picks, I think, in the top 45 this year. So they got I think a compensation pick for Callum Ward as well in there. So this is a big year for them recruiting-wise.
Minson and Griffin down to lower to half forward. Bradley got a hand on it. Easton Wood didn't want to go out to the one-on-one that he had out wide. He had Jason Tutt, the new sub, on, so fresh legs. Could have put it in front, but he elected not to do it. Wallace. Pickin. Under 10 minutes left. Jakira. Just has to pick a one-on-one. Who does he want? Cordy. Comes hard, he won't get near it. Thumped out of play before he could get there by Mundy.
Well, the game just at a bit of a standstill.
Yep, the whole quarter's been like it.
One goal either way. The game is totally finished for the Dockers. They get the 4 points, or the Bulldogs will get a sneaky half chance.
Highest handball averages of all time. Well, since that stat's been taken, it's right up there with the very best midfielders of all time. Dalhouse just couldn't find a target. Duffield, Broughton, Kepler-Bradley on the wing can't get there to make a contest, and Easton Wood takes the mark. But we're inside 9 minutes now. And here he is, Daniel Cross, sweeping handball on cue. Howard to Sherman. He needs to give them something. From outside 50, goes long, goal square. Cordy can't get a run at it, and Mundy must have no skin left on that fist, surely.
Well, they've taken plenty of heat, the Dockers' defence. We put the numbers up earlier in the piece as to time in forward half, and one of the great values of or bonuses of having Mundy across that half back is he's a really smart cookie and knows when to go third man up.
Johnson trusted with a kick in this time in the Griffin direction. Minson used his body well.
It's pretty soft by Jonathan Griffin.
Yeah,
Needed to be better than that.
Use his legs at all to push back. Just conceded.
Gilby does know how to use it. And he finds some space or a free chest. Doesn't want to bomb it. Boyd. Cordy wants it long to the pocket. And again, he can't get a run at it, and it's mopped up by Everton.
It's like they're instructed not to go to the hot spot. I mean, they've had plenty of opportunities to put it at the top of the square and create a contest, and they just don't do it.
The chaos smother might work for them. Cross flicked it out towards Griffin. Crowley again wearing him like a glove. McFarlane toward De Boer. Can't take the mark, but gathers the crumb. Pearce can't collect it. Jakira does on the move. To half forward. And almost 50. Good mark taken by Daniel Cross. Just outside the paint. Knows he can't make the distance. Gives it up to Howard. He bombs it from outside the paint, but he can't nail the goal. That will give some hope. 7 minutes left. Mundy to May. Fumbled that out.
That was definitely out in the fumble. Sheesh.
I reckon the boundary umps have got a wrong to that.
They're still sponsored by OPSM.
Yes, Jared, it's on their back.
Johnson.
Maybe it's us that won.
That's true. Well, I definitely do. I lost mine on the plane.
Farland for the 15th time this year. Short pass out of side. Mzungu. Surely Qantas have a few kept in store for you. Mundy takes off from half back. Main in position 1A. Speaking of, flicks it over the top. Bradley to finish this off. Rolls it towards goal. And it doesn't spin for him. It stays in the field of play. De Boer almost held off the ball. And Minson content to see it out.
Well, it was a marvellous mark by Chris Main, who continues to develop, and he's putting together a really good season. Not sure about the handball to Kepler. He just didn't have the pace to run away, but
Valentine, yes.
he
Kepler,
was
no.
thinking team. He wanted the big fella to share in the glory.
Boyd. Dangerous kick, though. Ibbotson, no arm slap free. Cordy down to Higgins to Wallace. Sweeping handball wide. Clay Smith looks up, back to Wallace. Open space ahead. The Dockers getting back to fill it quickly. And time well and truly against them now. Boyd.
Freo just not looking like they want to put a hell of a lot of pressure on.
Q is in the rack. Root. Happy enough to just see this one out.
Classic Ross line, really. Let defence win it from here. 25-point lead. 5.5 minutes left. Wood. Cordy again, the go-to man. Johnson and over the top, McPhee.
Been pretty good today, McPhee. Made one bad error with the turnover, but it's been very solid.
Sutcliffe.
Taking 10 marks, McPhee today.
Yep. Broughton. We're down to 5 minutes. Ibbotson.
Said before the game, they've been struggling to play 4 quarters. You would have thought they wanted to work on that.
Cameron Sutcliffe. He's done enough to probably get a game again next week. Cameron Sutcliffe in his first game.
Play.
Ballantyne off the deck. Matthew Pavlich, well, it would be appropriate if he seals it. Lays the tackle. Main, well, that'll do. It's not a set shot, but it's good as. From the goal line, Main has 4, and more importantly, Freo had the 4 points.
Well, we talked about him being great at tackling. He's also good at just staying in the game and keeping his feet and staying in the contest. And the ball there slipped, nearly got caught high.
Smart kick.
Was it Ballantyne?
It was.
Yep, and here we go. Stays in the ground and keeps his feet, gets goal side and kicks a goal. He's been really good today, Main. 4 goals, great effort. I think he's kicked about 28 for the year now.
So now it opens up for Fremantle. They win this one this afternoon. Next week, Melbourne, then Greater Western Sydney, and then Port Adelaide.
They've still got 4.5 minutes here, Dwayne, so they can apply good pressure, finish the game off and extend their margin.
They could, because percentage could be a massive factor come the end of this season, not just for teams hunting down 8th spot, but teams hunting down top spot. McFarlane flicks it to Hill. He could finish it with style from 50. Style and grace.
Stuff. Well, I don't know who did the tackle on Will Minson on the outer side. I don't know if you can help me, boys, but that was what caused the goal. Here it is.
I think it was Mzungu.
Yeah, thanks, Jared. Thanks for your support there. Great tackle. Got it inside of the ball. Played on quickly. This is a ripper of a take by McFarlane. That's what set it up. And Hill, he's worked into the game. Hasn't had his best game by any stretch, but a great goal there and ended up with 8 disposals after only having 3 at half-time. So well done, Stephen Hill.
Well, that's the beauty of Stephen Hill. Give him the ball and things happen. The question is, can he find it enough himself when he's got the super hard tag of a Liam Picken, who's been one of the Bulldogs' best. But the other thing that we just saw there was the value of McFarlane forward. Now, he's one of the great players. He can play forward and back. But I've been slightly confused as to why Ross Lyon hasn't looked at him more with Grover, who could take his spot in that back line, and has done so for so long.
Cross gets one wide. Tutt hasn't given a lot coming on as the star, but he's only young of games. Handball fired back in the Dalehouse direction, but Dalehouse and Cordy weren't on the same page. Dalehouse had a good second term, kicked 2 goals in that quarter, but it's been lean since then. Mzungu, Barlow, Broughton. Fading sunshine here at Patersons Stadium. It's going to be a comprehensive victory come the end. McFarlane did that just for you, Jared. Runs himself inside 50. Didn't really concentrate much on the kick.
That's why he's a good centre-half back, Jared.
he proved your point and then disproved it within a second.
All he had to do was lay it off. He had Pav. In fact, I think he was looking for Pav.
Cross. But Pav wasn't in the grandstand. That's where he kicked it. Picken. Little 1-2 with Liberatore. Once again, Jason Tutt on the outer side. Sherman.
Thanks, Michael.
And for the Dogs, their finalist chances, even though they were mathematical or hypothetical finalist chances, are well and truly over right now. 5 wins and 9 losses to this point of the season for the Dogs in what they can sell quite easily as a development year. Their first season under Brendan McCartney.
Dalehouse continues to work hard. He's just thinking another goal before full time.
Big Will's there, and he didn't cause any spillage for Dalehouse to mop up. Will Minson, a chance for a late goal.
Well, he's been kicking really well, Will Minson. It was one of his great weaknesses early in his career, but he doesn't seem to shy away from set shots. He'd be surprised if this one doesn't go through. He's been a pretty hard performer for them today.
Less than 2 minutes to full time. Will Minson for a consolation prize. And he slots it.
All pretty straight, all fairly effective there. Will Minson was just too big for Kepler Bradley, who's pushed down to defence because of McFarlane going forward. And they paid the price at the other end of the ground for McFarlane's lack of accuracy. Pretty tough, though, for defenders when they're up against ruckman. Can't whack the hands, you're basically impotent.
.31 points the margin. Both teams hoping for no injuries now. The result known. Wallace, turnover, lower. Has had an impact. Higgins can't mark it. Away from Pavlich, lower. Gets his own ball back. Ballantyne. Dragged down. And how will the umpire read that? My ball. No prior opportunity.
Higgins off with an injury.
Bad news.
Corky, I reckon, in that last marking clash.
They've got Hawthorn next week, the Western Bulldogs. So they'll need every soldier they can get. Pearce. Barlow. Easton Wood comes hard. Pavlich just as hard the other way. And he can finish with his biggest goal tally ever against the Dogs. For 6 goals for Matthew Pavlich for the afternoon.
And he's been in terrific goal-kicking form. He's kicked 5-2 today, as we said earlier, and those 2 were posters, so very nearly 7, but should go back and slot his 6th goal here. This will be a great finish to another good game for Matty Pavlich and for Freo.
Give the crowd something to go home with. Sneaks it in. Pavlich has 6. 34 goals, 15 for the year for the superstar.
Marvellous game from Matthew Pavlich, and a really nice conversion, just to put an exclamation mark on his magnificent performance. Has been magnificent because this club needed leading today. They were really lethargic in the first half. And the skipper was one of the half-dozen few that was able to bring his best in trying conditions early in the piece.
Quincy Pearce has been fantastic.
Very
too.
good.
23 disposals and 7 clearances. Pav's been great. You said that. He was the one that won on the game against Richmond in the wet as well, when he kicked 6 goals in the wet. And look back now, that game and today, they're both games that have kept him in the run for the finals.
Just looked like he might have just got a little corky on the way through there, Higgins.
Liberatore flicks it back. Dying seconds. The Fremantle chant ringing around Patersons Stadium. Maybe one last goal. Cross got there just in time. Mzungu pounces, gives it off. Crowley. Well, this would cap a great afternoon for him, but he can't kick the goal. He's held Ryan Griffin to an inconsequential game. Another fantastic tagging performance for Ryan Crowley. And there's love in the house at Patersons Stadium for Fremantle. 7th win of 2012. They're 7-7 now, and they join the other 4 7-7 teams. Just percentage away from 8th spot on the ladder. St Kilda hold 8th, 7-7. Carlton, Richmond, North Melbourne and Fremantle all hunting down 8th spot, and Fremantle have a good run of games to come. Box ticked here at Patersons Stadium for round 15. Over to Melbourne for round 16. The Demons at Etihad Stadium for another box to tick.